Hi, I'm Ben Burkhardt with Clear Call Ministries, and I'd like to share with you a few moments in the Word. We're looking at leading when others don't. Are you performing your best when it matters most? You know, in my own life, I've seen different examples of working with different leaders, and I know that some of them, they really encourage me to do my best. They bring out the best in my work, and others, they might make it very easy to underperform, to say the least. So I've recognized that. And we need to think about how ultimately this really comes down to us. It comes down to our choice. It comes down to our decision. So we want to understand a little bit more about this from the Bible. And the first thing is to recognize that we need to be on top of ourselves. We need to hold a higher standard no matter who is leading there on the outside of our lives and influencing us. So let's take a look at a sobering statement here. This is from the book Gospel Workers, page 342, and this is how it reads. The people will seldom rise higher than their minister. A world-loving spirit in him has a tremendous influence upon others. The people make his deficiencies an excuse to cover their own world-loving spirit. Wow, that's quite a statement, isn't it? Speaking here in context of the minister, but it could be any other kind of leader as well, where this is the case, that people don't often rise higher than their leaders. So how can you and I lead when others are not leading to the best possible example and way? Well, I want to share with you briefly a few comments and verses from Nehemiah chapter 3. In Nehemiah chapter 3, I recently shared another short thought on this, which you can also check out online. But in Nehemiah chapter 3 and verse 5, there are a group of people, especially leaders of this group, who are not working on building up the wall of Jerusalem. There was a great mission, and Nehemiah was leading out, and everyone was taking action in the work to build up the wall of Jerusalem, which had been broken down. And everybody had their part to do in the work. But among this group, the leaders of the group did not want to do the work. Let's take a look at Nehemiah chapter 3 and verse 5. It says, And next unto them the Tekoites repaired, but their nobles put not their necks to the work of their Lord. These guys did not take the work seriously. These were the nobles. They were supposed to be the leaders in this group. And unfortunately, these leaders were not really performing. They were not getting it done. So what do? Well, the people, they were still working even though their nobles did not put their necks to the work. They were giving a poor example of what should be done. And so we find here in the same chapter, Nehemiah chapter 3 and verse 27, that these guys, they kept working, not the leaders, but the other ones. Notice verse 27. After them, the Tekoites repaired another piece over against the great tower that lieth out, even unto the wall of Ophel. So these guys are preparing their sections of the walls. And the Tekoites, not only did they finish their assigned section and do well with it, they moved on to take care of another section of the wall. So these people were working very hard. Unfortunately, their leaders were not putting their necks to the work. So what do we see here? These guys were on fire even without their leaders. They had a higher standard for leadership. They recognized what was going on in their own lives and how they had to make a personal decision to reach a higher standard of excellence, to perform their best, even though their own personal leaders were not expecting the best. Now, we have many examples of leaders in our lives, leaders in our family, leaders in our church, leaders in our home, leaders in our community and in our country. We have leaders all around us of various sorts, and they all have an influence upon us, whether conscious or not. And we need to recognize that they do have an influence and recognize whether that is the best influence or not. And then we need to make the decision to do our best no matter what, to lead when others are not leading. We have to make that choice. And ultimately, we must consider who are we serving and who do we want to glorify. Notice Colossians 3, verses 23 and 24. The Bible says this, "And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ." The question is, who are we serving? Who is holding out the standard? Let it be the Lord. Let it be God that we are working for and not merely man. Let's hold the higher standard. Let's make sure that we are working and leading when others are not, that we are performing our best no matter what. This is what the Bible teaches, and let's be sure to put this to use in God's work, right? Not only leading in our own sphere, but also leading in God's work, making sure that things happen in the church, that things happen in the world, that the good news of Jesus goes to the ends of the earth. Well, thank you so much for listening, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next one. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to share it with others, or follow us and see more content like it. So thanks so much, and may God richly bless you as you seek to honor Him in all things.